Welcome to this edition of the BRSN Insider. I'm sitting down with men's lacrosse coach Mark Blaise. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me, Dakota.
We'll go back to last Saturday, senior day against St. Ambrose, a 14-5 win. Just take us through what you saw during that game.
It was a great, complete win. Coming off of the game against Ottawa, we really kind of had to get back to basics on winning the middle of the field and really outworking people. We're not a team that's going to get a lot of possessions at the face-off X, and so we have to win extra possessions other places. And so we took care of the ball really well and definitely hounded them on rides in.
The big thing that stood out for me was your guys' defense. You held them scoreless from the 9:56 mark of the first quarter to early on in the fourth. Talk about your defense and how impressive that is for them.
Yeah, it was an awesome experience, but that really starts with the ride because honestly they would never be able to get into an offensive rhythm because they never got possessions.
Yeah.
And then our defense is really stellar. A lot of athletes, a lot of people that can push out really hard, throw some checks, and cause a lot of turnovers.
Now, you talk about your seniors. That was senior day. You have guys graduating. If I'm not mistaken, this was the first group to play all 4 years with lacrosse as a varsity sport.
Yes. So it's really actually the first group that was recruited here too. So Ethan Novacek, Kyle Tomes, Ryan Heinzer, Remy Diakovic, and Connor Slimp all were recruited here as high school seniors, and then now are leaving our program in much better shape than they found it.
We'll talk about just each one of those guys and the impact individually they've had on the team.
Well, with Ryan Heinzer, you have a 4-year captain. You have a 2-time Daktronics scholar athlete. You have a kid that just does everything right on the field, off the field. And then Ethan Novacek and Kyle Tomes have both been captains the last 2 years. Kyle was a captain for 3 years. Between Kyle and Ethan, you have first team all conference winners, second team all conference winners, and guys that really kind of set the tone.
Yeah.
And then with Slimp and Remy, definitely Slimp got a huge opportunity last year to play a lot more minutes than his first 2 years and definitely played really well. And this year he's been a really good constant for us in the fact that, we know what we're going to get. He's not going to make a lot of mistakes. He's not going to push out, outside of his comfort zone. And Remy's just a workhorse. He does really everything for us. Going from his freshman year as a leading scorer to last year being the first team all-conference defensive midi, mainly because of how good he is off the wing and how good he is with ground balls. And I'll put him up against anybody else on guarding someone.
And we'll talk about last night, maybe the biggest win in program history to this point, a 20-11 win over number 4 ranked Missouri Valley. Just talk about last night.
Yeah, no, it was a great experience. I feel like we had a really good game plan going in, and we had a really good mentality going in, and so we really caused a lot of turnovers. It was close through 2 quarters, and then we really just kind of went off in the third quarter, both on man up helped a lot, but also our man down unit. So we were 6 of 9; they were 2 for 11, and so. As much as I look at that and say, "Oh wow, well we got 6 goals off of man up." It's even bigger that we were able to hold them on man down, even score a goal when we were 2 men down.
So that extra man opportunity, like you said, was really good for you guys, in particular with Sean Molyneux and Ryan Heinzer.
Yeah, both those guys can stretch the field so much shooting. That's why we put them up there, and so we're really trying to look to put a defense in a tough situation where they got to push out on one or both of them, and then that's either going to open up the bottom or, in that situation, they chose to cover one. We're going to get it to the other guy, and he's going to score.
What were the biggest things that caused that great start for you guys in the third quarter?
I think it was really just a mentality that we were going to put them away, and so we came out. We scored that last second half goal, and we didn't want them to be within 2 again. And the other big thing is we kept our heads up. Missouri Valley's a really streaky team.
Yeah.
They didn't score 2 goals in a row against us until the final minute, which I think was comes down to the face-off X. It comes down to wing play. It comes down to our guys on offense understanding the moment too.
Talk about the significance of this win. This is the first ever ranked opponent win for you guys.
Yeah, so it's our first win against a top 10 opponent, which, from this year we came close a lot of times. And, Aquinas now probably should have been ranked when we played them that game. But that was a great win for us. And I'm really glad that, we were able to take down Missouri Valley, who hadn't lost a conference game. And, it was a big win for our program. And, I'm really excited about it.
You know, going to Saturday, you play another ranked team. You go to Columbia. They're coming off a loss against Ottawa. What are you expecting from Columbia on Saturday?
They're a really solid team. They're very fundamental. They take care of the ball, and they're definitely a solid team. And they do a lot of things right. So we're going to have to come in and play with a lot of the same intensity that we have the last two games, and really control the middle of the field.
And we talked about the win last night put you guys at 3-1 in conference. Missouri Valley's 3-1 in conference. That loss by Columbia puts them to 3-1 in conference. So just talk about the conference outlook and maybe some of the crazy things that could happen in these final couple games.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of scenarios where maybe four teams could be 4-2, and all be tied for the 4 conference spots. There's a scenario where last year we were 3-1 and lost 2 games in a row in overtime and got in on a tiebreaker. So if we don't take care of business, that could happen to us. And so there's a lot of different scenarios where there might be 2-3 teams tied, and it could be a huge deal coming into conference play.
All right, Coach, thank you very much. Best of luck to you on Saturday.
Thanks.
Men's lacrosse coach Mark Blaise on the BRSN Insider.
Shakespeare once said, "Some are born great, and some have greatness thrust upon them. The rest of us," he said, "have to achieve greatness." We know exactly what he means. Be not afraid of greatness. Achieve it. Benedictine College, where greatness begins.
Back on the BRSN Insider, I'm sitting down with women's lacrosse coach Amanda Magee. Coach, thank you for joining us.
Thanks for having me.
You guys closed out your regular season on Tuesday night with a 21-3 win over Missouri Valley. Just talk about that game.
So, like you said, that was our last conference game of the season, and we were really looking in to obviously continue our undefeated streak. I thought Missouri Valley was better than I expected. They were super aggressive, very physical on us. I went back and I watched the film yesterday, and we really had to work for every goal that we scored. Yeah. They were pretty close on us inside the 8 and inside the 12 with a lot of pressure on ball. So I'm really happy with how we handled ourselves. I thought there were some calls that definitely should have been made on our side for yellow cards for the other team that we didn't receive. So I'm happy that we played with poise and we stuck to the game plan.
And just before that, you guys had your senior day the past weekend. Talk about this girls that are leaving an impact they've had on the program.
Yeah, so we have 3 ladies who will be graduating early in December. Emily Ruland, she is the number 10 on our team. She is a high attacker. And Emily does a lot of off-ball movement for us. She's kind of that girl who is setting a screen for somebody who is eventually rolling off of that and scoring. She is someone who puts up a lot of assists for us on a consistent basis, so we'll definitely miss her a lot. And then Madigan Schulte, she is a low defender for us, and Madigan got a lot of time on our senior day game. She's kind of a reserve for us. Again, just, one of the sweetest, greatest teammates you can ever ask for. And then one of our goalies, Teresa Petruccelli, she is also graduating in December, and she has just been wonderful for our program. I think it's been so awesome to have a couple goalies and to be able to switch them out. Maybe someone's having an off day or somebody's really hot. So we'll miss her for sure. And the 3 of them, they're just the epitome of what it means to be a Raven lacrosse member. And they're super selfless. They love their teammates, and we're going to miss them a lot.
And that win against Missouri Valley, 4th straight conference title. Just talk about what that means to the program and to you guys.
It's an incredible accomplishment, and we've been talking to the freshmen about it these past few days, and for them it's so exciting. It's new, it's fresh. It feels very, very exciting for them. Maybe for the returners, obviously that's incredible too. It's a lot of hard work, right? Those 6 a.m. practices, sometimes you're doing 2-a-days, you're having to give up a lot of your free time. So it's wonderful, but I think we have our sights set on something a little bit bigger this year, and we have to continue to be diligent about getting better every day.
You guys get a lot of your scoring from your freshman class. Now, going into the year, is this kind of what you were expecting, or is this something that kind of surprised you?
It was what I was expecting a little bit, if I'm being honest. I knew that we were going to have a really talented class coming in this year. But I am just so impressed with how they blended in seamlessly with our returners and how they have just shown so much confidence going into those games and even starting off, outside of conference games. So playing the number 3 ranked team or, an Indiana Tech, a Lawrence Tech, a Rockhurst University, they didn't really know what to expect.
Yeah.
And again, just very impressed with their confidence and their kind of take no prisoners attitude. I'm really excited to see what kind of numbers that they're going to put up as they continue their careers here.
Now, before the conference tournament, you guys have 16 days off. What are your practices going to be like during that time?
We are going to push them a lot, and we've talked about this for the past month pretty much. It's going to be a lot of fundamentals and then a really good amount of conditioning. So we're lucky. Coach Chuck is going to be running that for us for the next 2 weeks. Really what we want for them is to just be as conditioned as possible. I think that's going to help us a lot going into tournament play and then obviously going into the national tournament. So definitely going to push them very, very hard. Got to love them hard too. I want them to enjoy the ride as well. I know this doesn't happen all the time.
Yeah.
So it's kind of finding that balance between continuing to enjoy it, but recognizing that this opportunity doesn't happen all the time and we've got to go in full force.
How important is the time off too? I mean, you guys get a nice break and get the girls rested up.
Yeah, I think it's really important for them, and they'll get to go home for Easter, and for the most part of them, they haven't been able to go home since January, since they came back from Christmas break. So they'll have a few days off there, and I think that's going to be such a nice little reset. Go home, hang out with your family a little bit, and then, we'll come back on that Monday. We'll have practice, and then we're rolling into conference play.
What do you want to get out of the conference tournament before you guys, I mean, we're counting our eggs before they hatch, but going to nationals, what do you want to get out of that conference tournament?
I just want us to really play a full 60 minutes. And, the conference has been really up and down this year on the women's side. And, I think it's difficult sometimes for us to play these teams who maybe aren't as strong as the other teams that we played earlier in the season. So mentally being able to elevate our game, not play down to a level, and just really fine tuning. So we talk about winning every ground ball first time, every time, winning every draw, maybe shooting more with our left hand instead of our dominant right hands. Becoming more comfortable with maybe someone on defense sliding up to the midfield and playing a little bit of attack. So it's a bunch of little things, and then just continuing to build that confidence when we go into the national tournament.
Now, how important is that early, tough regular season schedule going to be for you guys heading into nationals?
I think that is going to be huge for us. I think it's so important for us to have had that pushback in the beginning of the season. Defensively last year, we were not prepared for SCAD 100%.
Yeah.
We did not. I definitely think we didn't think it was going to be as difficult as it was, just because we hadn't really seen that.
Yeah.
So I'm really excited to see, who we're going to get paired up with first round, obviously, like you said before, counting our chickens before they hatch here. But I think it's going to be so fun to see how we're going to compete when we get there.
All right. Thank you, Coach. Best luck to you the rest of the year.
Thank you.
Women's lacrosse coach Amanda Magee on the BRSN Insider.